Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, it has arrived. In today's video, we're taking a look at early footage of Zygarde complete form in the Open Ultra League. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, August Isley, so many thanks for the battle submission. Zygarde Complete is a Dragon and Ground-type Pokemon with the moveset of Dragon Tail, Crunch, and Earthquake, and it is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the Ultra League. This thing is an absolute beast. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches, and let's check it out in action. Hopping into the first match, leading Clefable into Cobalion. This is a positive lead for the Clefable opponent. Staying in this matchup with the Cobalion, so it looks like whatever they have in back may not be a big fan of Clefable. Clefable is going to strike first, firing off the Moonblast. We see the no shield from the Cobalion. Cobalion continuing to farm. Cobalion throwing on alignment, giving Clefable a fairy win for free. Stone Edge will connect. Clefable continuing to farm. Clefable firing off the Moonblast here. Moonblast into Cobalion is going to secure the KO. In comes a Shadow Drifblim. Opponent running some Cool Spice. Opponent is going to fire off the Icy Wind here. Opponent, oh, they're actually running Mystical Fire. I stand corrected. Mystical Fire gets Clefable low, but Clefable able to hang on, fire off the debuff Moonblast, and grab a shield from the Drifblim. And Drifblim is going to be met with Zygarde Complete. Zygarde farming up energy. Drifblim is at the Shadow Ball here. Shadow Ball. Oh, they actually go for a Mystical Fire to debuff the Zygarde Complete. Zygarde Complete going to fire off the Crunch. Crunch connects. That's going to be getting the Drifblim low. Drifblim returning fire here. They're going to be going this time for the Shadow Ball. Zygarde able to withstand the damage. In comes Giratina Altered, and Giratina will be hit with the debuffed Crunch. Crunch connects into the Giratina. In comes Tentacruel. This Tentacruel is running Acid Spray and Scald, so unfortunately the energy is walled here. However, due to that Crunch from the Zygarde, there's now a pretty big health advantage that the Tentacruel can take advantage of. Tentacruel just going straight for the Acid Spray on the CMP tie here. The Giratina firing off charge move after charge move, but Tentacruel is quite bulky in the Ultra League, able to withstand this damage, no problem. Still 2 shields remaining for the Tentacruel. Tentacruel is going to use the first shield here, and now going for the Scald. The Giratina is debuffed, so this is going to hurt. Giratina is going to commit the final shield, continuing to farm up with the Tentacruel. One more charge move from the Giratina. We see the no shield from the Tentacruel. Has to watch for a potential catch, continuing to farm up. Oh my goodness, the opponent gets the catch right, and they catch the Scald onto the Drifblim. In comes Zygarde to answer the Giratina, but Giratina's health is low. Dragon Claw will be shielded, and Zygarde Complete gets the farm down and takes the win. Moving into the next match, leading Clefable into Tapu Fini. This is a fairly neutral matchup. I believe Tapu Fini does have a slight edge, if I'm not mistaken. Clefable is going to be firing off the Moonblast. Moonblast will connect. That does quite a lot of damage into the Tapu Fini. Opponent is going to save switch into a Shadow Gliscor, and Gliscor will be met with a Moonblast as well. This is going to add up. We see the opponent commit the shield, and in comes Zygarde Complete. Zygarde is going to let this through. Is it the Shadow Earthquake? Yes, it is. That did nothing. What the heck? Zygarde shaking off that Earthquake like it's nothing. That is a Shadow Earthquake. You've got to be kidding me. What is this Pokemon? They're now going to go for the Aerial Ace. Zygarde continuing to farm. Unfortunately, one more Aerial Ace will be reached by the Gliscor. Zygarde able to withstand that damage and get the farm down, leaving with energy. Opponent sends in the Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini is going to fire off their energy here, denying the Earthquake. Surf will get the KO. In comes Tentacruel, and the opponent concedes the match. Moving into the next match, and we see a bit of a tough matchup here. Clefable into Shadow Drapion. Clefable continuing to farm. Drapion does have enough for the Sludge Bomb here. Decision time for the Clefable. Clefable commits the shield, and it's going to be a Crunch. That is a bit unfortunate, but returning fire with the Moonblast. Moonblast into the Drapion will do quite a lot of damage. Continuing to farm with the Clefable. Clefable gonna let this through. Drapion goes for the Sludge Bomb. That does massive damage, but Clefable able to hang on and make it to the Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash will get the KO, and Clefable is able to win the lead. Opponent sends in Trevenant. And is Trevenant going to be answered by the Zygarde? Yes, it will. In comes Zygarde Complete. Zygarde complete, as we've seen, is quite bulky. Opponent goes for the Shadow Ball. That again just does nothing to the Zygarde. What the heck? Zygarde firing off the Crunch into the Trevenant and gets the defense drop. We now see a switch into the Tentacruel as Tentacruel is looking to get ahead on energy. Trevenant fires off the Shadow Ball. That does solid damage into the Tentacruel. Tentacruel going for the Scald. Opponent makes a switch into the Skuntank, but honestly, this is fine. This is the charge move that you'd want to throw on the Skuntank anyway, and Scald gets an attack drop. That is very nice. Tentacruel farming up, losing CMP to the Skuntank, but thanks to the attack debuff, the Crunch does not KO. Tentacruel making it to another Scald, and that will get the knockout. Back in comes Trevenant. In comes Zygarde. Trevenant needs 2 moves to KO, but the Zygarde is just looking for the farm down here. Trevenant baits with the Seed Bomb. Can Trevenant make it to the Shadow Ball? They cannot. Moving into the next match, picking up a great lead, Clefable into Giratina Altered. Giratina staying in this matchup, which is a bit of a surprise, as this is a terrible matchup for Giratina. Giratina farming up a ton of energy though. Are they running the meme move of Shadow Force? Moonblast will connect. Gets the attack drop as well. They did build up to it. Clefable is going to no shield. They don't have it. They're running Shadow Sneak. And Clefable is now going to win the CMP tie with the Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash will secure the KO. Opponent is going to send in Charizard. Charizard is going to be hit with the Moonblast from Clefable. Knowing that there's Tentacruel in the back waiting for the Charizard, perfectly happy to just let the Clefable get KO'd by the Zard. Zard firing off the charge move here. They have to Blast Burn, and Dragon Claw will not KO. They do go for the Blast Burn, and now in comes Tentacruel. Tentacruel is a very nice counter to Charizard. Charizard is going to be firing off another Blast Burn. Tentacruel tanks it like it's nothing. In comes Poliwrath. Poliwrath, of course, does have access to Ice Punch, which could be a bit problematic for Zygarde complete. However, thanks to that Acid Spray debuff, we see a very nice catch onto the Zygarde of the Scald, and that just does nothing. Zygarde complete. Let's see how much this Ice Punch does. This is double super effective damage. Oh, they're not running it. They're running Dynamic Punch. Oh my, okay. Zygarde going to fire off the Crunch here. Crunch into the Poliwrath will secure the KO. Back in comes the Charizard, and look at the Dragon Tails go. Zygarde complete. Would be able to get the farm down if it's shielded, but saying no. I'm going for the 2 shield flex. In comes the Tentacruel, and Tentacruel secures the win. Moving into the next match, leading Clefable into Scrafty. What an amazing lead. This team does very, very well against it. We're now going to see a save switch into Jellicent. Jellicent opting for the Surf, not building up to the potential Moonblast. Surf will connect, farming up, firing off the Moonblast is the Clefable, and my guess is now it's Zygarde time. Opponent commits the shield, but now they're going to have to deal with Zygarde complete. Zygarde farming up energy. This is enough for a Shadow Ball from the Jellicent. Jellicent goes for the Shadow Ball. That does nothing. I am still not over how little damage charge moves do to this Pokemon, even in the Ultra League. This isn't even XL. This is just an Ultra League one. The switch timer comes up. Opponent can send back in the Scrafty. Scrafty will be hit with an Earthquake from Zygarde complete. Earthquake does some solid damage. Again, Zygarde is very bulk oriented, so it's not going to be doing a lot of damage. Opponent goes for the foul play into the Zygarde. Just going to stay in with the Zygarde, and Zygarde will get farmed down. However, now that Scrafty is going to have to deal with Clefable. Clefable will be hit with a power-up punch from the Scrafty. Clefable looking for the farm down. Scrafty making it to the last second charge move here. A boosted foul play will hurt, so we will see a shield trying to keep the Clefable nice and healthy. In the back, there's a Charizard. Charizard not going to appreciate the Tentacruel that is available. Moonblast connects. In comes the Tentacruel. But if you remember, the opponent did save that Jellicent from earlier, and that Jellicent is a problem for Tentacruel. Blast Burn will connect. In comes the Jellicent, and Jellicent has energy. Tentacruel commits the shield. It's the Shadow Ball from the Jellicent. Continuing to farm up is the Tentacruel. Very nice charge move timing, going for the Acid Spray. Acid Spray will not KO here, but it does get the shield, and now this Acid Spray is going to be doing even more damage due to the 2-stage defense drop. Acid Spray gets the KO. Back in comes the Charizard. Charizard continuing to farm. Charizard needs the Blast Burn to KO, but Tentacruel has some bad news. This Blast Burn definitely does not KO. Able to make it to the Acid Spray. Acid Spray is going to secure the KO onto the Charizard. Picking up a fairly neutral lead in the next match, Clefable into Walrein. Considering there's Zygarde in the back that takes double super effective damage from Ice, definitely nice to see the Walrein on the lead. Clefable is going to strike first, firing off the Moonblast into the Walrein, and Walrein is going to respect it with a shield. Walrein has farmed up a massive amount of energy. Clefable can tank any one move here. Clefable commits the shield on the Icicle Spear, recognizing that it's a problem if the Walrein sees the Zygarde complete. Firing off the Meteor Mash will be no-shielded on the CMP tie by the Walrein. Clefable is going to let this through. Opponent continuing to fire off Icicle Spears, chipping away at the HP of the Clefable. Clefable will be able to tank an Icicle Spear here, so we do see the no-shield. Clefable trying to make it to the Moonblast, gets to the Moonblast, and this puts pressure on the final shield of the opponent. Moonblast gets the KO. They're going to be really sad when they see the Zygarde now that the Walrein has been KO'd. In comes Trevenant. Trevenant is going to get the farm down. Do we see the Zygarde? No. In comes Tentacruel. Tentacruel will be able to absorb energy from the Trevenant, no problem. Tentacruel going straight for the Acid Spray. Acid Spray will be no-shielded by the Trevenant. Trevenant is going to fire back with a charge move here. It's the Shadow Ball. We see the shield from the Tentacruel in the back. It's Charizard. And oh man, the decision to shield the Tentacruel looks like a good one, as Tentacruel is very valuable in the back. Scald will be shielded up by the Charizard, continuing to farm up with the Tentacruel, and Tentacruel can tank any one move from the Zard. We've seen this. Zard goes for the Blast Burn, that's gonna hurt, and oh man, Tentacruel makes the Scald, but the energy will be denied by a Blast Burn from the Charizard. In comes Zygarde complete. Zygarde is going to be hit with a Dragon Claw from the Charizard. Dragon Claw connects. Again, that just does nothing. This Pokemon is so bulky. Oh my goodness. Charizard firing off another Dragon Claw. Zygarde able to withstand that damage. In comes the Trevenant. Now the question is, can Zygarde make it to double crunch? Crunch number one is going to get them low. And oh no, Trevenant makes the charge move. Is it the Seed Bomb? Is it the Shadow Ball? It's the Shadow Ball. And that's game over. Picking up a decent lead in the next match, Clefable into Giratina Origin. Despite the fact that Clefable does have the type advantage, Giratina can do surprisingly well in this matchup, as of course the Shadow Claw Shadow Ball combination is absolutely deadly. Shadow Ball will connect on a Clefable, that does massive damage. Clefable going to return fire with the Moonblast. Moonblast will be shielded, so the Giratina is looking to try and keep itself healthy, and now it's going to fire off another charge move. We see the shield from the Clefable on the Ominous Wind. Clefable goes for the Moonblast, but a beautiful catch by the opponent, catching the Moonblast on a Charizard. Charizard is going to be met with Tentacruel, and we see the attack drop from the Moonblast coming in clutch, as now Tentacruel can just commit to the farm down. This Tentacruel is not running Blizzard, so its energy is walled by the Giratina, but the Giratina may not know that. So Tentacruel is going to be able to withstand this damage from the Charizard, and when the opponent inevitably sends back in the Giratina, the question is, does the opponent fall for it? Do they commit the shield? Scald does get shielded. That is incredibly nice, as now the opponent has no more shields to hide behind. Going for another Scald. That's going to connect onto the Giratina. Giratina continuing to farm. Giratina choosing to fire off energy here, realizing they're not going to farm down before another Scald is reached. Ominous Wind will get the KO. In comes Zygarde complete. In the back, opponent has Virizion, and we see a switch into Clefable. Unfortunately, Virizion is going to wall the energy from the Zygarde, so it was a very nice switch out into Clefable, as Moonblast will hit for massive super effective damage. Virizion able to hang on with a fraction of HP. Leaf Blade will secure the KO, but back in comes Zygarde, and there's just nothing left for the opponent to do. Back in comes the Giratina Origin, accepting its fate, as Crunch will secure the game. Hopping into the final match, picking up a great lead, Clefable into Mandibuzz. Opponent save switches into Ampharos, and there's a really good response available to this with Zygarde complete. But instead of switching in the Zygarde, gonna stay in with the Clefable, fire off the Moonblast, and now in comes Zygarde complete. Any electric moves here are triple resisted, so the opponent is forced to go for the Brutal Swing. Zygarde looking for the farm down. Zygarde will be hit with another Brutal Swing from the Ampharos, but that's not really a problem for Zygarde. Zygarde gets the farm down, and if the opponent sends back in the Mandibuzz, this is going to be a matchup of two absurdly bulky Pokemon. And unfortunately, Zygarde's energy is completely walled here. Crunch, single resisted. Earthquake gets same type attack bonus, but is double resisted. So Zygarde might want to try and pivot out here. Dark Pulse is going to connect into the Zygarde, banking energy, switching back into the Clefable, and in the back, the opponent has Toxicroak. Toxicroak will be met with a Moonblast. I'm expecting the opponent is going to shield here, as they need to use the Toxicroak to get rid of this Clefable. Clefable continuing to farm. Toxicroak going to fire off the charge move here. It is the Mud Bomb. Clefable now going for the Meteor Mash, anticipating that the opponent is going to look to try and double shield. Opponent does exactly that. They're double shielding the Toxicroak. Switch timer will be coming up sooner rather than later. Clefable double shielding. It's another Mud Bomb, making it to the Moonblast. Is this going to be enough to KO? This is neutral damage onto the Toxicroak. Moonblast gets them low. We see a switch into the Tentacruel. In comes the Mandibuzz, and the opponent concedes the match. All in all, Zygarde complete honestly looks like a beast in the Open Ultra League. It's rated extremely highly on PvPoke, and it's pretty easy to see why. This thing is absurdly bulky. I know for a lot of us, maxing a Zygarde complete all the way to level 50 isn't realistic, but it's good to know that if you do get the cells, it's still very useful in the Ultra League. This trainer mentioned that they climbed from the elo of these battles ran about 2600 to Legend using Zygarde complete, so it should be a very strong contender. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support guys provide is sincerely appreciated. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.